This is a review of the iPhone 6s Plus. This happens to be the 128 gig version, but it is available in 16 gig and 64 gig. I strongly recommend that if you buy one of these phones, that you do not buy a 16 gig version. It's not enough memory, and the new camera with a higher resolution and also the different way of taking live pictures will eat the memory up very quickly. Inside the box, you'll find the phone itself, and you can see it's quite large compared to the standard size of phone. For us, it's quite a change, but I made a decision. I analyzed my phone usage, and somewhere around 90 to 95% of my phone usage was the fact that I was doing texting and also reading and sending emails. I was having difficulty in typing on my smaller phone, and I wanted to go to a bigger phone for that reason. Here you can see the comparison between the iPhone 5s, which I've used for the last 2 years, and you can see the new iPhone 6s Plus. Dramatic difference in size. But let me tell you something. It's not just about size. This phone just flat out performs like you won't believe. Here you can see I have a benchmarking software. This was the iPhone 5s. It comes in at great at a rating of 38,934. And here is the iPhone 5s. And according to the benchmarking software, it says, wow, this phone's a monster. 59,089. How good is that? This phone here has more power than my Apple iPad Air, and it's almost as powerful as my Apple iPad Air 2. So this phone has tremendous CPU capability and tremendous graphics capability. For people who do a lot of detailed work on their phones, like I was basically running an office and sending hundreds of emails a day. That makes a big difference. The Wi-Fi is faster. The connection rate of data transfer is faster. It's just a dramatic difference. And you can't argue with the numbers. They're right there. Not only is the CPU much better, the GPU is better. The 3D graphics on the 5S were 11,923. And here you can see we're at 24,279. That's more than double the GPU capacity for higher quality graphics on 3D. Inside the box, you'll also find some brief documentation, a new set of stereo headphones, a charging adapter, and a lightning cable. I've not used them yet because I've owned so many Apple products. I've used other adapters to set this up, and I've been using it for several days now. Very, very nice performance, very good product, and the quality here of the accessories is very good. The phone itself weighs in at 6.77 ounces, and I have big hands. This is why I got this phone. When I typed doing text messages with my fingers, I could never type a text message properly. I was constantly doing more correcting than I was typing. I have to tell you, I already noticed a difference on this. It's much nicer. The screen size here is 5.5 inches diagonal. Looking here, you can see the home button. You can also see the front-facing camera. The front-facing camera is a 5 megapixel camera, and it takes great selfies. You also have here the speaker system. If I stand this up on edge here, you can see here the plus and minus volume up and down switches, and you can also see here the switch that puts the phone in silent mode. Flipping this over, I now have a rear-facing camera with a flash. This rear-facing camera is a tremendously powerful 12 megapixel camera. I know people are going to say, hey, somebody else has got more megapixels. I'm telling you, this thing here has got great optics in it, takes great photographs. It'll even take 4K videos. It does take live photos, which means it actually records 1.5 seconds before the photograph and 1.5 seconds after the photograph. So you can touch them on the phone and see the photograph move, for example. You can also shoot very high quality panoramic shots, up to 63 megapixels in size. Just remember, 12 megapixel camera, 63 megapixels on panoramic, and 4K video. That's going to eat up a lot of memory. That's why I got the 128 gig. In addition, the iPhone 6s Plus will allow you to take 1080p videos at 30 and 60 frames per second, 720p video at 30 frames per second. It also has built-in optical image stabilization. That feature is only available on the iPhone 6s Plus. Another thing I like about this is the fingerprint button here. If I touch it and press it and hold it, it pops up instantly. I tell you what, it was a pet peeve for me that the fingerprint sensor never worked properly on my other phones, and it really aggravates me. This one here looks like it's finally been fixed, and it works perfectly every time. If I touch it with any other finger but the ones I've programmed, it comes on, but I still have to enter a passcode. So it's so fast now that it literally pops up when it's on. This phone also has a battery of 2,750 milliampere hours. That's slightly smaller than the iPhone 6. I think the operating time is about the same of the different features. I think that's because the CPU and the GPU are a little bit more power efficient. The talk time is 24 hours on 3G. It's 12 hours of internet time and browsing on 3G, LTE, and Wi-Fi. 14 hours of playing video, 80 hours of audio play, and 16 days of standby. On the side here, you'll see the power button, which puts the unit to sleep, and you'll also see the SIM slot. If I press this power button, you heard it click and go off. If I come up here to the bottom, what you'll see here on the bottom is the headphone jack, 3.5 millimeter, a microphone port, and there's another microphone port over here. These are the speaker ports, and then here you have the built-in lightning connector for charging. So far, I'm very impressed with the phone and how it performs. It just does a great job. Its ability to play videos does a great job, high quality. As you can see, the ability to play movies is fantastic with a much bigger screen. What I found so far is everything that I've done on this I like. I like watching movies more. It's got a good sound system with the speakers. The CPU and the GPU are much faster, so playing games is much more fun and enjoyable. I have to tell you though, I have found a couple things. Like for example, I played Plants vs. Zombie until I ran around the game about 10 times. And what I found out is the old Plants vs. Zombie game will not even play on this phone. It did play on my 5S. So there may be some issues with certain apps not being compatible. Overall, I like this product a lot. I'm glad I got it. My wife actually got one too. Here you can see, as I said, this phone blows away an iPad Air. So you can see the capacity of this phone. I rate it at 5 stars. This review is done by JJ CEO.